Hello, my friend. On today's episode, I'm talking with Ben Pickard, and we're talking about how to prevent clients from ghosting you. So, you've all had this experience. If you owned a gym more than a few months, you know that once in a while, some clients will just ghost you. They'll just up and leave and disappear. And while there's nothing we can do to prevent it 100%, we give you some really specific strategies and techniques for really minimizing the chances that clients are even able to ghost you. So, if you've had that experience, of clients leaving with no notice and never telling you anything, this is a great episode for you. So keep on listening. Hello, fitness business nerds. What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Business for Unicorns podcast. Before we jump into today's call, I want to let you all know that we offer a chance to get on a call with us if you want. So if you're a gym owner out there and listening to this podcast, maybe you've been listening for years, you have 30 clients or more, we offer this kind of free opportunity to get on a call and talk to us. It's a 15-minute phone call. And on this 15-minute phone call, we're going to help you get clear on what you want from your gym, what's currently working in the gym, what's not working in the gym, and helping you leave with a little bit of a plan for how you're going to get there, how you're going to get to the next stage of growth for your gym. We do this transparently because some of you might want to actually work with us, and it's a chance for us to see if you have some challenges and goals that we can help with. But even if you don't ever become a Unicorn Society member or work with us, it's a free phone call, and you will get a ton of value out of it. You will leave with some clarity, with some ideas about what you can do next to get unstuck or start growing your gym. So if you want to take us up on our free opportunity to get on a free 15-minute brainstorm call, link is down below in the show notes. Come chat with us. We're here to help. Which brings me to today's episode. We're here with Mr. Ben Pickard. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, sir. How you doing?
I'm so good. We're recording this kind of end of April, and it's officially spring. How you been doing at getting outside and enjoying the sunshine?
One of the unexpected downsides with working from home is I do not actually leave the house that much.
I hear you.
So like I go outside, we'll walk the dogs or whatever, but it's not like yeah, there's like sometimes like 48, 72-hour periods where I don't leave the house.
Yeah,
But the
that's
spring
real.
weather is absolutely beautiful, which
Yeah.
like I've noticed I'm happier, I'm waking up earlier. Yeah, winter blues is a thing, man.
Yeah, for real. The minute the sun comes out and I get a little vitamin D, my body's like, "Oh, is this what it's like to be joyous?" Not that I'm not enjoying my life, but damn, the minute we get some sun in our eyeballs and on our skin, it's just a whole different kind of optimism that floods our body, at least for me. And
Really,
so,
it's a good
yeah,
argument for living closer to the equator.
it is true. What are we doing so far away from that damn equator, Ben?
No. Ask
But then,
myself every couple of months, I'm like, why don't I live in Costa Rica?
but honestly, the minute it gets like 20 degrees hotter, I'm going to be complaining that it's too hot.
I think the snowbirds know what's up.
Yeah, no, it's true. You really got it. Should be moving with the sun if you can. But anyway, well, I'm glad you're enjoying some spring when you can.
Thanks.
Let's dive into today's topic. So today's topic is actually about a very common challenge that you have as a gym owner, which is basically clients who ghost you. Right? It's a very common challenge. Regardless of your model or how big or small you are, from time to time, there's going to be clients that just kind of disappear. And it can seem very mysterious. You can get your feelings hurt because they didn't tell you where they were going and you're just like left wandering. You could spend a lot of time trying to hunt them down, or maybe just not doing anything at all, but just worrying about clients ghosting you. Right? And so what we wanted to do today is just talk a little bit about how to get in front of that. What are some things to do? So this is really a retention conversation, right? About how do you keep people longer, but really specifically, we're not going to go over just general retention strategies. What we want to go over is how do you set your gym up so that it's almost impossible to ghost you? Right? How do you set your gym up where it makes it very unlikely for people to just disappear? Because that has its own kind of toll that it takes on you and the rest of your team and your community if it happens enough. So let me just briefly start with this, Ben. What's been your experience, just on a high level, with clients who just ghost you?
Yeah. Definitely it's happened. Blows my mind every time.
Yep.
Particularly the people who like don't say anything and keep paying.
Yeah.
And it's like, should I not like what do I do? I'm so
Yep.
lost. And kind of like fast forwarding through the story, because we all have the same dozen stories that have happened with just different first and last names of the humans. there's been two things that I've really learned. One are the systems and processes from like a tactical side of things to get ahead of clients ghosting you, and what you do if they do. Inevitably, it happens anyways.
Yep.
And the second one is kind of the, like, I think it's emotional
Mm-hmm.
maturity. It's the feelings that you mentioned. Because like that used to really bother me, and I'd be like, I'd be thinking about it before I go to bed at night. Of like, man, should I charge Sally tomorrow? Like her monthly payment's coming out, but I haven't heard from her for 2 weeks, and she hasn't been in. Like, is this morally and ethically wrong? Is it
Yep.
right? Like, what do I do? I'm so lost. So there's been kind of two learning paths. One is, I'm just going to wrap it up with the emotional side of things, even though that's not quite the full picture. And the second one is like, how do we learn from those things so that we can put robust systems in place that I don't think we get the likelihood to zero, but we get it to
Yep.
like very low.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love thinking of this in those kind of two buckets, right? One is that the tactics, the systems you put in place to make it less likely people are even able to ghost. And two, just kind of the emotional toll that it takes, the meaning you make from it, the way that it hurts, what it feels like for when that happens, the impact it has on you emotionally and your team, frankly. That they also struggle with this from time to time. So maybe let's ping pong back and forth. You offer a solution, I'll offer a solution. Let's go through a list of kind of our best practices here. So when it comes to the tactics, the systems you put in place to make it less likely for people to ghost, what's one that comes to mind first for you?
Yeah, the simplest low hanging fruit is probably doing some sort of 7 day or MIA report.
Yep.
If someone at your gym hasn't been in for 7 days and they haven't explicitly said, like, hey, I'm on vacation, I'm on
Yeah. They're
freeze.
not frozen or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, hey, Michael, we didn't see you this week. Can I help get you booked next week? Everything okay? Anything you need from
Love
me?
it.
Any of those three would be a fine question to ask. But I'm ending with an open ended question to try to prompt a response. Because when I'm not actually trying to solve the problem over a text message, I'm trying to get them to respond to that text message so I can engage in further conversation.
Yeah, just to proof of that you're alive, right? Proof that like this is still your phone number and you're still here and willing to talk to me. So I think that's a great one. Just like every 7 days, run a report who hasn't been here this week that's still on an active membership, and just a quick text. Hey Ben, didn't see you this week. Everything okay? Right? Like just a simple prompt like that goes a long way. If they respond back, you'll know they're still alive. They still like you. Maybe they'll give you an update. And if they don't reply, I would just keep doing that every 7 days, and we'll get to the point where maybe you want to hang up the towel, but still, that's a really great place to start. The other place, I'll give one. So one strategy or system I think needs to be in place for most gyms most of the time is I really am a big believer in exit interviews. I do think that it should be really like that we don't terminate anyone's contract or let anyone not renew unless they talk to someone. We don't let someone just send an email or a text and be like, not coming back, cancel my membership. And these days there's more laws around this, right? So depending on where you live geographically, there are some cancellation laws. So if people bought something online, they often have to be able to cancel it online. So assuming you're complying with local laws, when you can, I think it's a really great practice to at least encourage people to get on a phone with you or someone on your team to have a very quick 5-10 minute conversation that we call an exit interview. We do it at Business for Unicorns. We did it for years at Mark Fisher Fitness. And so when someone basically reaches out to say, hey, I want to terminate, we say, okay, great, no problem. We just hop on a call for 5-10 minutes. We just want to find out, why you're leaving, get some feedback from you, and make sure we can take care of you in our final days or weeks together, right? It's a very easy sell. It's not long. We might change their minds, and that'd be a great benefit to that. But more than anything, we're breaking up amicably.
Yes.
Right. The last thing we want is like that stigma of I left that gym, not on the great best terms. I never actually said goodbye to anyone. And so they're never coming back if they break up like that. Right. This is like most people could be very uncomfortable if they saw an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. Right. It's because you didn't break up well. And so we don't want it to be awkward when they see us and they want to come back. And so an exit interview just gives you a chance to say, what's the primary reason you're leaving? And just acknowledge, validate that, ask them any feedback for us, anything we could have been doing differently that would have kept you longer. You can't hurt our feelings, right? Maybe we send also an anonymous little survey afterwards so they can tell us anonymously what their feedback is. And then also say, okay, well, in our remaining month, anything particular you want to work on, or in our remaining weeks, anything we can do to help you, finish with a bang, and then finish the conversation with like, our door is always open. I'm so sorry you're leaving us. We hope you've had a good time. We'd love to have you back at any moment. Please let me know whenever you want to come back. I'll give you a discount for your first month, right? Anything at all. Or if you learn on that call, oh, they're just going away for a few months or they got a new job. Like, okay, when can I follow up with you?
Yeah.
Is it okay if I give you a call in 6 months, right? An exit interview is just like a wealth of opportunity to make sure you gather information, get feedback, and break up peacefully.
I love how passionate you are about exit interviews.
I really am.
Like they're critical. And you're not roping people in like, we won't let you cancel unless you get on a retention policy.
No.
Like, it's not that. It's like you frame it way differently, and that's not what you do anyways. But it's something that if you're not doing that, it's just, God, you're missing out on so many opportunities.
Yeah. And listen, not everyone's going to be stoked to get on a call and talk about why they're leaving you. People are not very comfortable with what they might perceive as like conflict, right? But it's not conflict, right? It's just like we've built a relationship. I want it to end in a way that like we believe friends. And so let's just talk about it for 5 minutes on a phone or a Zoom. And so, I think if you can implement something like that, it goes a long way to making sure past clients return someday. And it goes a long way to you getting valuable feedback from people who are on their way out. Yeah. So I'll leave it there. I love that strategy because I'm a big fan of maintaining positive relationships.
Yeah.
And that really goes a long way to do that.
Hey there, Business of Unicorns podcast listeners. I'm just making absolutely sure you have already gotten your free, instantly downloadable copy of my new book, The Little Book of Gym Marketing Secrets. You can find a link to download it in the show notes, or you can go to gymmarketingsecretsbook.com. I worked super hard to make sure this is a less than a 30-minute read and is a comprehensive overview of all the things you need to do to grow your gym, get more leads, more clients, and importantly, change more lives. Again, find the link in the show notes, or you can download your free copy at gymmarketingsecretsbook.com. And now back to the podcast.
To do that. What else is on your list in terms of kind of tactics and systems, Ben?
Well, the next one that comes to mind, it might be cheating, but I'm going to say it anyways, is to make sure you have agreements so that we're not taking anyone over to court over the cost of a gym membership. Let's be real. It's more about so that you've set expectations of what happens next.
Yes.
So when somebody is MIA, you can say, hey, I noticed you haven't been in for a little while. Just so you know, you're still paying. If you're not going to be in for a bit, please go on freeze. If you want to terminate, let us know. But here's what we mutually agreed to. Now, we know that everyone doesn't commit your agreement to memory, nor do they even often reference it when they're like, hey, I want to quit. Oh my God, I have to give more than 4 seconds notice. That's still going to happen. But you can be like we talked about, you actually have a couple options. So if shit came up, here's something we can do. We actually want you to get results, not to just we're not playing the fitness. So, and you can still do that even if you don't have an agreement. So it's not like you can never say that if you don't. But that really sets the stage that it gives you something to reference back to. Like we talked about before, here's a couple options for you, or here's a couple ways that we can help you. Or, God forbid, if they're like, I wasn't in last week and I still paid, what the hell? You could be like, this is how that works. We've agreed to that. But if you don't set the foundation with those mutual expectations, even if they forget, you're kind of the boat doesn't hold a lot of water.
Yeah, I think that's a really great one. I think it's maybe even one of the most critical ones is that you have an agreement with them, a written contract that explains not just how their membership works, but how their membership ends. Right? What happens when you're having financial hardship, or you need to upgrade or downgrade, or it is time for you to leave and it's not at the end of your term yet? How do you handle that? What do they pay? Is there a termination fee? Is it prorated? And so having all that be clear in your contract and maybe reiterated in something like a client handbook or some sort of client web page, so that they can access that information easily and it's not just buried in some legalese, helps set clear expectations that you can then reference when you get to this point in your relationship. So I think that's a really good one, Ben. I'll add one more, and then maybe we can talk about the emotional side of the equation. But the one last tactical one I would say, and not every gym maybe has the capacity to do this. This can be tough if you have a lot of members. Is I do think something that is valuable in making sure people don't ghost you is having some regular check-ins with your long-term clients. Right? Once people get past the first year, having maybe even just a quarterly check-in with people where you text everyone or call everyone or email everyone and say, how are you doing? What are you working on? And I like a quarterly pulse for this if you have the capacity for it. And you can even be like an open office hours. I know one of our who's been on the podcast a million times, one of our Unicorn Sign members, Tina Morin, who many of you know and love. She does client check-ins with her clients, and she actually offers some office hours where she'll get on the phone with them for 5 or 10 minutes, just a quick check-in. What are you working on right now? What are your goals? Any injuries? And now she captures all that information, uses it with the trainers, and the thing about it is that we can help people set a next goal, to set a next milestone to look forward to. They will have something that they are running toward. right? They'll have a vision for themselves and what they want to accomplish next. And when people have that next thing in front of them that they want to accomplish, this thing that they're running toward and working on with their trainer, they're much less likely to ghost.
Yeah.
But someone who's kind of hit a plateau, it's kind of flat, it's the same old, day to day, week to week, they kind of hit some goals already, so they're kind of fine. It's very easy for that person to ghost, right? Like it's so easy. But if you have something for them to look forward to, that they have a clear next milestone with their trainers, they're going to stick around, or at least be more likely to stick around.
Yeah.
Anything you would add to that?
Yeah. No matter how unpopular opinion here, so chew me out in the comments if you feel like it. No matter how good your training and fulfillment is, if people don't have a goal they're working towards, it's a very small step for us to just be very expensive workouts.
Yeah, that's it.
They are here to get to a goal. Like they'll join for the results, stay for the community. There's all sorts of ways to frame that and ways that we believe we're special at our own gyms, and we like are and are not at the same time. And if they're not working towards a goal, like how is this different from just a generic workout?
Yeah.
So it's our job to really, not just be trainers, but to be true fitness professionals and be like their go-to trusted authority and all those things.
Yeah.
You've done a good job, and they're like, hey, I think I'm kind of stagnating on my goals. Can we talk? It's like, Fuck yes, our systems are working.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Ben. It's like we're not just giving workouts. We're there to be cheerleaders. We're there to be support. We're there to push them and challenge them. We're there to help them articulate goals. We're there to help them navigate plateaus and obstacles. And if we're engaged in that conversation about where they're heading and what they want to achieve, we're more likely to have like a sticky relationship with them, where they're going to want to stick around, or at least let you know that they don't want to stick around anymore, right? Which is what this whole episode's about, which is making it less likely for them to ghost. So I think those are all great things to try. I think the other side of this equation, which I think you so beautifully said at the beginning, Ben, was when clients ghost, it also kind of takes emotional toll on us as the owner, as on our team. When someone just stops showing up in any relationship you have in life, that can be traumatic, right? Just that someone just like walked away and just left you hanging, right? Can be intense. And we certainly have had this with long-term clients who just kind of ghosted on us. And we did all those things, and it still can happen from time to time. And so how do you deal with that side of it for yourself, Ben?
Thicker skin than I used to have.
Punch at walls.
No, I'm not a very angry person. I do think there is something to be said about the more often you've encountered the thing, the more resilient you get to it. Like,
yes,
the first time you do anything is terrifying. I did a pottery class for the first time a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Special note, I'm fucking terrible at pottery. I was amazed at how bad I would at it.
Really? You're good with your hands.
I know. Both me and Katja were like, what is going on here? Out of 6 balls of clay, because I screwed them up so fast, I got 1 shitty bowl. Wow. That's beside the point. The first time, like going to this pottery class as someone who is good with my hands, and the people around me expect me to like maybe not excel, but not fail as miserably and spectacular as I did, is a little bit intimidating. So the first time we do anything, it's a little bit scary. And the first time a client ghosts on us, it's a little bit scary.
Yeah.
And as it happens more and more, not that people are ghosting every week, but if you've been in business for a decade, you're going to have more than 0 people ghost on you, probably.
Yeah.
You just kind of are like, well, here's what we did last time. Here's how we made it better. And none of those last times have ended in catastrophe. So like, they're probably not going to like sue us or arson the building or whatever. It's never what the fictions we create in our head. So that's a long-winded way to say thick skin is part of it. And the other part of it is just having a process you believe in. Whether you believe that if people haven't shown up for 2 weeks, you automatically cancel their membership, or you're willing to charge them indefinitely. And like, I don't actually have a horse in that race, but you're doing a thing that you can actually truly get behind with like your soul and your heart and your gut, and you're going to actually do the stuff. I think it's like evil to charge people and not reach out to them, but if you're willing to like continue to charge them and they get a message every week relentlessly with never like letting off, like you just need to have a process in place to manage it. Because more often than not, when emotions are running wild for me, the solution is to get into some sort of action. Even if I'm paddling a little bit in the wrong direction, I can probably unpaddle myself and go back the right way.
I think those are great. Those are great places to start, right? Which is that you'll gain resilience on this over time, right? You'll get a little more grit and resilience over time, and this will be maybe less intense. Not just people ghosting, but generally clients terminating in general, even if they do it in a very transparent way. Just clients leaving over time, it'll get easier and easier for you the more reps you get in. And I think your other point here is well taken, which is you got to really believe in what you're doing. So even if people are leaving and it's not for them anymore, you continuing to have a process that you really believe in, a service that you really believe in, an offboarding experience that you really believe in, right? Means that even if you're not the right fit for someone anymore, that you still can believe in the effort that you and your team are putting forward. I think those are useful. I'll just offer one more thing, which I think goes hand in hand with what you already mentioned, which is I think our biggest tendency when someone leaves, either transparently terminates or ghosts us, is to let our brains make a ton of assumptions about why. Right? We let our brains run wild with assumptions about they must not like that trainer, they must not like us, they must not be able to afford us anymore, they're probably going to my competition down the street. And because as humans we're just so good at catastrophizing, I promise none of your assumptions are going to be good. None of your assumptions are going to veer towards the positive options that they could be in front of you. Your assumption's never going to be, wow, we trained them so well, they just don't need us anymore because they're working out on their own every day. And they're very happy working out from their home gym, which they built since working with us. Like they're never going to have that positive, rosy thing. Your brain's almost always going to go to the negative shit. And so if you can at least notice that about yourself when you see your team doing it, notice about them, and then pause. And instead of catastrophizing, go to that curious place and say, okay, well, can we ask them more about why they're leaving? Maybe that's why an exit interview might be really valuable. Maybe I'll shoot them a quick text to be like, hey, I haven't seen you. I'd love to just know what happened, or a quick email, right? And so if you can turn that catastrophizing into just a little bit of curiosity and try and learn from the moment, you and your team will become more and more of a learning organization that grows and learns from your setbacks. And that's what we all want. We all are going to keep making mistakes and have setbacks, and clients leave and clients ghost. That we're not going to be able to stop that, right? But can we learn from it? Can we turn it into ways that will do things better or differently? Yeah. And so if you can kind of rewire your brain or reframe those moments to be opportunities for learning and growth, you're going to be better off. And that's probably true for many things besides this, but I think it especially applies here because it's very easy to assume the worst.
Yeah, and that frees your mental space up for, instead of stressing about what catastrophe that probably isn't but possibly is happening with that client, you can free that brain space up to be like, go get another client or do something else for your community. The number of times I've been kept up at night by my own brain, nobody's doing it to me, catastrophizing about shit that was like, I don't know. It's like the first time I did a personal training session, I'm sure I was nervous as hell. And now if you're like, hey, can you help me with my squat? It's like, all right, let's see a squat. Like it just becomes easier. Yeah. But a lot of the value in that isn't just like knowing what you do. It's the confidence it's the clarity that you know what you can work on next, rather than that occupying, like that's the biggest event that happened that week. How do we make this just a thing where it's like, oh, let's follow our process? Because that's where it comes to kind of that maturing in business, so that it doesn't put a stranglehold on us and stop all momentum. I think
that's 100%. Yeah. And to be clear, like you're also allowed to be a little sad when a client leaves. Like that's okay. Like that, we become friends with our clients, very close, many of you. And it's okay to be like little bums when they leave. That's okay. We're not talking about that. We're talking about real catastrophizing, right? Meaning like, oh, I got to close my business, or why do I even do this anymore? Or like my whole team sucks. Like that's the kind of catastrophizing. It's just not useful. Right, you're not gonna improve things by thinking like that, and so I think we've made our point here. So, anything else you want to say about this topic? I think we've covered a lot of ground. We covered like different systems and tactics for making less likely people to ghost. We talked a little bit about how to like manage your own emotions and thoughts when it comes to this topic. Any final parting words, Ben, for our listeners?
I think regardless what comes up with clients ghosting you, it's going to sometimes be inevitable, as much as we try to minimize it. So it's like, keep moving forward and don't let it hold you back. Like you truly do got this.
Yeah, 100%. Don't let it slow you down, hold you back. You got this. You're probably doing great work. Learn from it when you can, and try some of the systems we talked about today. Even just one or two of them can make a huge difference in the amount of stickiness you have with your clients. And I mean that in the best possible use of the word sticky. Yeah. All right, friends. Well, this is a great one. Thanks, Ben. I really appreciate it. For any of you out there who want more help and support from us, again, take us up. 15-minute brainstorm call. There's going to be a link down in the show notes. It's like a no string attached conversation. We're going to walk through what's working in your gym, what's not working in your gym, help you create a plan to get to the next milestone you have for your gym. And so let's just, learn about how we can help you. So thanks again, Ben. I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.